Okay, so we're going to experience publishing our first post. Now, as a reminder, when we had discussed logging into WordPress, in the login screen you have a little checkbox that says keep yourself logged in, and I just want to kind of check in with you about what that means. And that is, whenever you're in your browser and you're still logged in, you can visit other web pages on the internet and everything is cool. But if you choose to now want to go look at the site that you've created in WordPress and start editing, just know that there's a good chance that you may still be logged in, and therefore it's fairly easy throughout the day to be able to access your dashboards and continue on with your site. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just quickly create a new tab and even just type in WordPress. Once I hit enter, if you notice, I am now absolutely in WordPress. I didn't even log in, and it's because I checked that checkbox. So I'm going to go to my site. I'm going to go to WP Admin, and now I am going to make my first blog post. A blog post is a published piece that you can do anything you want. You can upload images, you can type in titling, you can type in content or text copy, and share with the world either thoughts or anything you found that you like, etc. Now, the post section is one of the first sections from the top that you can go to. And if you notice, when I just hover over, I get a flyout. But if I click on posts, that flyout becomes more or less a sub-menu to that topic. Okay, so that flyout becomes fixed. Now, here is that hello world. When you click on posts, you get basically a summary of all the posts that you've made, and right now there's only one, and it's the default post that's given to you when you start a site with WordPress. So what we're going to do is add a new one, and to do that you can either come up here and click on this particular button to the right of posts, or you can click on add new in the submenu of posts. So I'll click on this button. When you click on the Add New, you're going to be brought to an editing screen. That editing screen has a series of panels on the right and below, as well as what's called the editing workspace. So the first thing you want to do is type in the title of the post that you want to make. Now, you can change your content even after you've published it, but let's go ahead and take a stab at inventing a new post. So we'll just say, welcome to Fancy Socks, my new site. Okay, now once I'm done with typing in my title and click down here, you're going to notice that the permalink, which is actually your unique address for this particular post, updates itself. So here's my site, myfancysocks.wordpress.com. It showcases a date and it showcases the actual title. So you'll see welcome to, and you'll see some dots and ellipses, and that's because it just doesn't have enough space to show this very large title here. Okay, now let's just say I think this is kind of goofy, so I'm going to delete this, my new site, and instead just want my blog post to be welcome to Fancy Socks. Now, if you notice, once I've sort of clicked elsewhere, this has updated itself. However, the permalink is holding on to the earlier version. So we want to edit the permalink to be consistent with the title that we've created it. So I'm just going to go in and delete the last little bits and hit OK. Now we have the permalink with the unique address of this blog post to be consistent with that title. You can do this at any time. I've just started the instruction this way. Okay, you have a couple of buttons available to you in your editing experience. The most important one you're going to find yourself using is Add Media, and we'll experience what that looks like a little bit later. You have also save draft and preview. You would do this when you're crafting a post and you're not yet done. You don't want to yet publish it. You can save it as a draft. You can also preview it before it actually gets published. These buttons are pretty handy for you as you develop your blog post. The format we'll talk a little later about. Categories we'll also have a separate tutorial on, tags, etc. And you also come all the way down to likes and shares. Now, all blog posts have a lot of options to them, and what you want to do is get used to the options you want to utilize while making your blog posts. Likes and shares gives your published post the ability for those reading it to like it or share it to their own channels of social media like Facebook, etc. So a lot of people will keep these checked so that those each post provides you with these types of interactivities. Now, the one area we're missing is the discussion area, which is turning on the ability to have people comment on your blog post. So in order for us to see that, we actually have to come up to the very top of our screen and click on Screen Options. That gives us optional panels to turn on or turn off. What you'll notice is the discussion panel is turned off. So I'm going to click on that, scroll back down, and now we have a specific window, up here, for discussion. Allow comments and allow pingbacks and trackbacks. We'll talk later about this, but I'm going to actually turn that off for now. Okay. Now, to edit or invent a post, you have the opportunities of text, you have the opportunities of links, and the opportunities of loading images. And just to kind of bring you through, I'm going to make this a little larger. Okay. The editor of, let me make that smaller, for you to type in or copy paste any of your content is in this particular window. Now, the first thing you want to know is that you've got two levels of menus available to you, but when WordPress starts out, you actually only have one. So you want to turn on the second menu available to you. So to do that, you want to come to the right-hand icon available, click on it. You'll notice that the little tooltip below is Toolbar Toggle. Click on that, and now you've got two levels of menus available to you. The editor menu bars are very common, offer very common formatting options for you as you make your web post. So let's go through some of those. I'm going to go ahead and grab some fake text. I went to Lorem Ipsum or Libsyn.com, copy. And before I paste this fake text in, the first thing I want to do is click on this little T clipboard button. And if you notice, you have a Paste as Text tooltip. This gives us the ability to for WordPress to scrub the text that we're copying from another source so that when it loads, it doesn't bring any formatting in it. So I'm going to click on OK and paste. Okay, when you paste any text, it always comes in pre-formatted, or excuse me, it always comes in a way that WordPress presumes that it's going to start off as a paragraph style. Okay, what we're going to do now is kind of create some opportunities for headings, and then come back in, select those headings, and give it some heading style. Okay, headings, this is for those of you who've taken HTML, CSS, this is an H3, and this is a paragraph. So these are basically utilizing the standard format sizings available to HTML and CSS, which is what blog sites are sitting on top of. Okay, there we go. So we're pretty happy with some content, some heading. Maybe I have a subheading. So this is an H3. I'm going to make this an H5. All right. And we're pretty happy with this. So I'm going to come over here and save it as a draft. Let me go ahead and make this fit. And now I want to preview what this post looks like before I publish it. Okay, so here is the title. Here are the two levels of headings that I have. Here's some paragraphing. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my editor. Now, if you noticed, when I clicked on the preview, it actually created a separate tab. So now that as I update this and hit preview again, it will update this tab. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Okay, now we want to add some images. And I'm going to go through adding images and working with your media library with a separate tutorial, but I'm just going to quickly show you how to do it. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit and get my, there we go. You know what, I'll just make this smaller. All right, I just clicked on Command or Control minus, which gave my screen a little bit more workspace for me to fit within the viewer. Okay, so I'm going to put in a little image that I want to locate on the left-hand side, and then I'm going to put another image that gets located on the right. So to do that, I'm going to go up to Add Media, and in this case, I don't have anything in my media library because this is a new demo. So I'm going to upload some files, select Files, go to my desktop, which is where I've located some images, and select all three of them. So I'm going to hold down the Shift button. Here's some images, open them. They load, and each image loads, when it loads, it actually has a specific address connected with that media piece to the website. Okay? Now, I'm just going to quickly grab an image and insert it. Okay, well that's not very pretty. So I'm going to click on that image. When I do, I get a tiny little toolbar that allows me to wrap the text around it. So I'm going to click on this little box on the left with the words wrapping on the right. Click on that. And now the words seem to work nicely with that image. I'm going to come back down, put my cursor in, add media, and maybe I'll do the shark side. It sucks. Insert, and once again, click on it. But this time I'm going to select the image to be on the right with the words wrapping on the left. There we go. So once done, I am now going to save as draft and then preview. So when I click on this, this tab is going to be updated. Okay, so let's look at it. Now we have a fairly nice looking blog post, and I am now going to publish it. So once I'm happy with it, I am going to go ahead and click on Publish. And the minute I do, I can now look at the published version of this page. Oh, first of all, WordPress always congratulates you. And I'll get a look out of that. There we go. So we now have a published site, a published post that is, that carries the date and time that we published the piece. And just as you, for you to know, even if you've published a piece, you can come back and in fact edit any of the content, any of the add images, swap out the images, and the original post will be maintained. Okay, continue on with the other tutorials for more about editing posts and more about adding images and working with images within your published pieces.